Alright guys, I've summoned you here today because as usual, HS Esports wants to tweet out a video promoting the show and we've got to make that clip. So, any ideas?
I think as it's the last week of the Swiss, it's important to talk about the elimination matches and the chance that teams like United States and South Korea...
Sounds really boring. We should do facts with Dan, because everyone's been tweeting me saying HGG is amazing.
I don't think that's appropriate material for this week, Dan. I just think that it's more important that we talk about like Germany and Belgium and the Netherlands and the chance they might get eliminated.
Alright, what should we have in the show?
Okay, well the most important thing to include in this clip is a run of today's show, today's schedule, which is a summary of last week's games, the top 5 clips from last week, an interview with AKA Wonder, next week's schedule, an analysis segment, and of course, a Q&A with Twitch chat.
No. Doesn't sound as good as facts.
I think we should definitely get in there with the teams that could be eliminated, the teams that could go to BlizzCon, the teams like
facts
Belgium.
are just better. Like in Japan, you shouldn't tear off your wrapping paper from Christmas gifts, Neil.
I don't care about Japan or gifts or Christmas. What I care about is Norway, Canada and Germany.
Speaking of Germany though, you shouldn't look anyone directly in the eyes when you're eating, Neil.
I don't care about eating, or I don't do eating, I don't do German.
This is just like last year all over again. It's not the same when Derek is here. Oh, I miss Derek. Derek, come back to me.
What I like is Belgium. I like Norway, I like South Korea, I've got an idea. Global Games and hello, this community show. We will have community and show for you to global about. And as you can see, we have got some facts. Then we've got some stats coming up after that. As you can hear, Paul the Murloc is also joining us this week around. We can have Hunter Aces outside. I'll be back in just a moment.
What's going on?
Wow, he has a massive head. I did tell him it was a really bad idea to do this. Sorry, Falk. You even have tape over your mouth as well. Let's just... Oh!
You know what, Dan? Getting sapped is one thing, but this is something else entirely. Thank you.
Hey.
Can we do the show now?
We can do the show now. Sorry, he had this idea. I thought it was going to be good. It turns out it was actually a really bad one. I apologize.
Welcome to the Hearthstone Global Games Community Show. My name is Falcone, and joining me this week, definitely not Lorinda. It is, of course, the Dana to my Dan, or the Dan to my Dana. It's Dan Gaskin.
An absolute pleasure. I do apologize once again that everyone had to witness that, but he thinks Hunter Ace is outside now, so maybe he can be occupied for at least 30 minutes, however long his attention span goes for.
Hopefully just about long enough for us to get this show on the road. Let's take a look at today's schedule. We're starting off with a summary from last week, as usual, followed by the top 5 clips, and then I had a nice little chat with AKA Wonder to see what he thinks about Spain and the Hearthstone Global Games.
Yeah, we have the rest of what's coming up this week as well, and a nice analysis segment that's definitely not boring. And then your favourite part, we have Q&A with Twitch chat, which I'm sure you're all dying to be a part of.
Always look forward to that one. But first, let's take a look at the standings currently for the Hearthstone Global Games.
Brazil currently 5-0 right at the top of those leaderboards, Falk. And then you've got everyone else at 4-1 who should be comfortable thinking they're going to qualify. But it's those 3-2s. That's where everything's going to get spicy this week.
Yep, 3-2. Every single game counts. Every single loser is going to be eliminated, though, as you can see there. Last week's standings, we have some 2 and 3s that we are going to have to say goodbye to.
It is a shame that we have to say goodbye to anyone. Some fantastic teams in that 2 and 3 spot. I know particularly Italy you are quite fond of, but I mean, Romania there as well. Japan have been doing so well. The Russian Federation, the fact all these teams got eliminated is just absolutely mind-boggling, Falcone.
Some big names there, indeed. I mean, you pointed out the Russian Federation as one of the big ones. Russia last year weren't able to make it through to the second phase either, and we consider Russia or the Russian Federation as one of the big names globally in Hearthstone.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw how they were playing, and it's not like they were playing badly necessarily. Some of their matchups were quite poor for them. But at the end of the day, we've got better teams that are still left in the competition. Although some teams maybe that we didn't expect to be left in the competition at this point. But that's the real underdog story. That's what we like to see in the global games.
It is now the last week of the Swiss, though. We are going to move on to top 16 next week, which is very, very exciting. But before we move any further, let's take a look, as usual, at the top 5 clips from last week. Always one of the most exciting segments for me.
Top 5, because if you missed any of it, we had some pretty exciting moments from last week. Let's take a look at number 5 to begin with then. This was between Taiwan and Ukraine, I believe. And it was an aggressive Alexstrasza play. I believe you were casting this matchup, Falk.
Yep, against Death Rattle Hunter, it's difficult. And me and Derek were sitting here thinking, you know, which is the best defensive play to make? Maybe they play the Lich King and naturalize Houndmaster Shaw or something, but nope. They went smok with the Alexstrasza and were able to finish up that game as Ukraine sort of ran out of steam and weren't able to do anything to prevent the damage. And, you know, Death Coil helped.
And you can see what it meant to Roger and Taiwan there as an extreme celebration from him when they got that victory. But the Death Coil did help, but they went for that offensive Alexstrasza play, knowing that they could get, one of 3 cards that could have got them the victory. Death and Decay could have helped, Frostmourne could have helped as well. So a really nice play from Taiwan to really analyse that situation and say, we can get lethal if we play aggressively with Alexstrasza.
Should we take a look at clip number 4? Dan, what have we got?
Let us take a look, Falcone. It's Netherlands versus Singapore here. And you'll be looking at this hand from Mitsuhide and you'll be saying, oh, Vine Cleaver off the top. Ooh, straight away play that, smack my opponent. But no, there was hesitation. And the reason was they worked out Harrison Jones was in the hand of Singapore. And you could see the back and forth, the discussion between the Netherlands that was happening here.
Yeah. It really did look like they were going to play it, but Lorinda did tell us as well that the turn before, the Harrison just sat in the hand and Singapore floated 5 mana. So there was only so many cards that it could have been, and there you go. The Vine Cleaver wasn't played, and just goes to show that sometimes just because you've got one of the most powerful cards in the deck, in your hand, ready to go, it's kind of why open deck lists are so important. In a closed deck list, you wouldn't necessarily expect there to be a Harrison Jones, and you wouldn't be playing around it.
Yeah, it's very difficult, and of course, if you know there's a Harrison, you don't give them the opportunity to draw more cards, to draw more removal, etc. It's a really nice play. Let's take a look at clip number...
Too late, they've started it! No!
It's fine.
Slow down!
My fault.
This was, I think, Derek's clip of the week, and the reason I wanted to slow down there is because the most important part was actually just before this, the candle shot hitting the Wild Pyromancer. When there's a Cleric and there's a Pyromancer there, it just means that the Priest can heal up, which is good for the Priest, right? Well, wrong. If Bunny Hopper didn't put the candle shot in there, Czech Republic would have been able to play Shadow Visions and then Divine Hymn, drawing several cards, which is exactly what the Czech Republic wanted to do. Because of that hit into the candle shot, Czech Republic had to start the turn by healing the Pyromancer, then played the Shadow Visions and weren't able to combo the Divine Hymn off the back of that. A very small little detail there that you really only notice when you're watching the game. You think, wait, why would you hit the candle shot in? And then you get the wheels turning and think, wait, well, they're better players than we are, so what did they realise that we didn't?
Yeah, because naturally you don't want to allow card draw for your opponent, but clearly they were card tracking, just like in the previous clip. They were saying we don't want to be giving them possibility with the Shadow Visions, the etc, etc. So another good play, just playing around what your opponent could have, and we've noticed that a lot during the global games. I know there's been a few funny tweets made by some players who I won't name who were saying, is deck tracking important? Well, I think yes, it's very clear now. We've got to that point it is.
Yes, deck tracking is one of the most important skills, I think, in Hearthstone. It's why resources like Hearthstone Deck Tracker are just not allowed in competitive events like the Hearthstone Global Games. Let's take a look at clip number 2. Now, this was Canada. This was Purple, a series that you and Lorinda cast last week.
Yeah, in a very grim matchup of Togwoggle Druid versus the Hunter, the Death Rattle Hunter, which strictly just performs so badly against the Hunter. But what Purple did here was he played a tempo Togwoggle on turn 8, which then forced Japan to play the King's Ransom so that the favour was in Canada's court. And then they were able to play Twig plus Azalina, get all of those cards, all of those Hunter cards, like I think there was a High Main in there as well, and have the tempo advantage, then also have that 10 mana from the Twig a little bit later on. A really good assessment of the current situation they were in, and they just said, all right, we just play Togwoggle. And even in the interview afterwards, we spoke to Purple and we were like, was that you who decided to make that play? And he was like, no, I did not want to play Togwoggle, but I was convinced. And in the end, it worked out. They won 3-0.
Yeah, it was a great performance indeed overall in that series. As we take a look, moment of truth. clip number 1. And if you were watching the show last Tuesday, you already know which clip this was. It was incredibly lucky for New Meta and Belarus as Joff and Team Indonesia, they think they've won. They do a very awkward high five there, or a little handhold touch thing, because they have the Mechathune combo. But Dan, what happens?
And then the only possible outcome of even saving it was Swamp King Dread for Belarus, and you can see how happy they were. And look at the faces of Indonesia as well. They went from smiles instantly to frowns because they thought they were sailing. They thought that was a 3-1 victory. They were through. They were comfortable. They didn't even consider the fact that Swamp King Dread just ruins this combo because, of course, for the combo pieces, you have to play these cards in order. And if Swamp King Dread is killing them off the board, it just doesn't work, Falcone.
Yep, and there you go. In the end, Mechathune wasn't able to get it done. Mechathune has struggled a little bit in the Hearthstone Global Games so far.
But that was unfortunate for him. That kind of went against Mechathune there. We've got to give it to the guy. He had done so well. He was thinking we're going to finally get it, but no, Swamp King Dread comes to punish him.
I mean, I just remember because you two were casting this, and Derek and I were in the other room. We were watching, and we lost our minds when we saw this happen. It was incredibly crazy. What a mad moment in the Hearthstone Global Games.
Well, I mean, I thought originally they needed like maybe a King Crush could have saved them, and as soon as I saw the stat line I was like, oh wait, is it King Crush? Maybe as soon as I saw the mana cost and I was like, oh, that's not going to save them. Then I was like, oh my god, it's actually Swamp King Dread. Like Lorinda gave the Belarus team a lot of credit and said he thought that they played for that out. I'm still 50-50. I can't tell if it was just them saying we want one card that can generate us an out, maybe, or potentially they had analysed that situation. Who knows?
Well, like, we need Swamp King Dread. That's what they got.
Maybe they had analysed it.
Possibly. Anyways, next up we have a little interview to show you with AKA Wonder from Team Spain. They're a team that started the Hearthstone Global Games by going 3-0, but actually lost over the last 2 weeks. So I decided to sit down, have a chat with him, and see what he's thinking about the tournament so far. Good morning, Aka Wonder, and welcome to... Actually, hang on. Before we go any further, let's get this definitively answered. Is your name Aka Wonder or AKA Wonder?
My name comes from AKA Wonder, but in Spanish you say Aka. So I understand people calling me Aka or AKA anyway, but I prefer AKA, to be honest.
Okay, so Aka is like the traditional Spanish way of saying it.
Correct.
Interesting. Well, if it's AKA you prefer, it's AKA you sure have. Welcome to the Hearthstone Global Games Community Show. Thank you so much for coming on. I know that you've been quite busy this weekend. You're in Amsterdam right now, right?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I'm in Amsterdam. I played playoffs. I ended up 4-3. Not the best score, but I'm happy overall. I was happy with my lineup, happy on how I played. I didn't get top 32. I missed some points, but it's fine. Now it's time for HGG for us, and let's win and forget about this tournament.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about top 32. We're here to talk about top 16 in the Hearthstone Global Games, which you guys have been very close to for several weeks in a row now. You started by going 3-0 in the HGG Swiss. Since then, you've lost 2 weeks in a row. What's going to be different this week?
So mentally, it's gonna be so different because now we are a bit stressed. We saw ourselves very close to qualify 2 times in a row, and it's hard to I don't know, to stay calm and to keep playing as good as we did last weeks. I don't know, man. Probably nothing is gonna be different. Honestly, we are preparing a lot. We wanna close that up. We wanna qualify. We are so motivated, but yeah, losing 2 match points or tournament points. I don't know. Hopefully, everyone is happy. Everyone is with the same energy last round, and we can close that up because we really want to, and we think that we have a really good team to go through.
I want to hear some confidence, man. Come on, what's going to change this week? You're going to win this week. That's the answer.
Yeah.
To that question. So,
okay.
So, do you think something changed in the last few weeks? Like, is there something that you and the team have maybe realized that you've been doing wrong over the last couple of weeks, or has it been dumb luck? What do you think's caused the losses?
we know in Hearthstone sometimes things can go wrong even though you play perfect, or at least as well as you did last weeks. To be honest, we made a couple of mistakes last 2 games, I could say, last round, but I don't know. We are making sure this week that we prepare as much as we ever did before in AGG. So I don't know. We are a bit nervous, as you can see. It's not easy to talk about because if we lose starting 3-0, not only us are gonna be like a bit hungry about it, but also people who follow us are gonna start thinking that maybe we were not that good as we expected to be, right? So I don't know. It's hard. I think we're gonna win. I think we are fine. We prepared a lot, but Hearthstone is a bit tricky sometimes, and the possibility to go out is there, to be honest.
How have you managed preparing for this week alongside playoffs over the weekend?
Yeah, that was tough. Hopefully, like, my teams did a lot of things when I was playing, but also yesterday when I finished playoff, I came to the hotel and we were working on the lineups, ban strategy, pick strategy, everything for 4 hours. They did like a bit of work the day before because they wanted to, when we go together to a call and talk about what to bring and what not, everyone wants to have like a different opinion and something, so they work a bit the day before, and today 2 days ago and yesterday we did a call all together. We prepared, we saw all the pick and ban phase from round 1 to now, and I think we are fine, I think.
And how do you guys tend to approach the pick and ban strategy and approach bringing archetypes? Like, do you try and bring the 9 best decks and just win because you've got better decks than your opponent? Do you try and look at what your opponent have been playing before and counter them a little bit? What do you do there?
So, last rounds, we were going for the best decks, at least the best decks in our hands, to be honest, because we don't know how to play every deck in the meta, but we know most of them. So we had the standard lineups every time, and now we are having something more greedy, I could say, something different. We are choosing different things, even one weird deck, to be honest, so you guys will enjoy probably. But this time we prepare against our opponent like very well, because we have 4 or 5 rounds behind to see what they're doing and how they're preparing, right? And in picks and bans. So we prepare specifically against them this time, and that's why you will see something different.
And at the same time, they will probably be trying to prepare specifically for you this week. So are you feeling confident about your opponent this week?
Yeah, of course. What we saw is that they prepare always specifically against one opponent, and for them it's gonna be hard to read that we are gonna prepare specifically for them. So that's why I'm confident. You know, they are gonna think that we are gonna follow the same path, but and that could be our surprise. Let's see.
So speaking of deck lists there, as he said, there'd be a little bit of a surprise. Just a reminder to everyone in the chat right now, if you do ! Deck list, as shown in front of me, you can see all of the deck lists for this week, so you can see which spicy deck it is.
But remember that we know that they know that we know that they know what decks they're bringing, so they're not going to target us because we know what they're targeting. Remember that, Falk.
If I can understand it,
yeah.
I might remember it. A little shout out there to AKA Wonder, actually. Just want to say he was actually the first pro player friend that I made when I was alone at an airport for the first time attending an event, and I said, "Does anyone want to share a taxi?"
Pro player friend.
He was he was the guy that replied. I sat in a taxi with him, and he made me feel right at home.
Oh,
so
that is lovely.
big shout out to AKA Wonder there. As we move swiftly on to next week's schedule, starting with tomorrow's games. We're starting off tomorrow with Norway versus Thailand, then Germany versus Indonesia, Hong Kong versus Sweden, Taiwan versus the United Kingdom, and finally Netherlands versus Poland. Dan, which games jump out to you?
I mean, Netherlands-Poland, an elimination match, I believe, so that one is screaming to me. Some fantastic players on both sides there.
Psychic screaming?
Psychic screaming indeed. United Kingdom, as they are one of my picks. I'm a big fan of the United Kingdom boys, so I'll be hoping that they can bring it home as well, go 5-1 and confirm themselves in that top 16.
We're in Poland right now, so really it's Team Poland that'll be bringing it home.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Let's take a look at Wednesday's games. So we have China versus Ukraine, Belgium versus Spain, Czech Republic versus Bulgaria, Brazil versus Switzerland, and then Canada versus Portugal. For me, the big ones there, again, it's got to be the elimination matches. We got champion Czech Republic against Bulgaria, Belgium versus Spain. We were just talking to AKA Wonder about that series. There's some pretty big ones.
Yeah, and did we think Czech Republic would be in this position? Probably not. They were 3-0.
Like Spain, they started by being 3-0.
Both these teams so comfortable, and they've just fallen apart, fallen at that last hurdle. But they have one more opportunity to try and get into that top 16. And if they don't get there, well, last year's HGG champions not getting that would be a travesty.
It's the Boomsday, man. Like, all of these teams that went 3-0, and then the Boomsday came out, and they just...
No Stan Sivka.
Right. It's like the opposite of last year when Knights of the Frozen Throne came out, and Czech Republic then went ahead and won the whole tournament.
Bish, bash, bosh. But I believe there's another day.
There is another day.
There is another day.
There are 3 days each week for the Hearthstone Global Games. We have Sottle versus Raven, as Sottle's pick is the United States and Raven's pick is South Korea. Up first on Thursday, that's another elimination match. And then we have Chile versus Singapore.
Yeah, and that is a scary one indeed. United States, they are on the opposite side of the spectrum. They were 0-2, and they pulled it back to be 3-2. So they have that chance to try and get to 4-2. And now we think 4 should be enough. That we believe that maybe 1, maybe 2 teams could miss out on those 4 wins, that 4-win bracket. 2 things for the United States there. 1, they wanted to have to put on the best show possible. They lost the first 2 series on purpose and then stayed in by the skin of their teeth, climbing up. Secondly, they just wanted the hardest path possible. Again, just to show how good they are. That sounds like the United States to me. It does. But if they fall right at the end, then I think we'll be laughing at them. Not we, figurative. Maybe you guys will be laughing. I won't be laughing. Definitely won't be laughing. Anyways, the match of the week, we always get you guys at home to vote for who you think will win in our chosen match of the week, and it's going to be Netherlands versus Poland. So, you know how to vote by now. Type !vote. And then the team that you would like to vote for. Also, if you're in the chat and you'd like to ask us some questions, again, worth pointing out, you should @Lorinda. He's the person that's going to be giving us the questions, sitting there in chat. So that's the best thing to do. If you can get through the spam of all the votes. I have no idea how spammy chat's going to get right now. Who do you think's going to win, Dan Gaskin? Well, Falk, I think that the Netherlands should be able to take this one because you look at the Netherlands side, they are absolutely incredible. They're my pick. Oh, okay. Instead, Poland are going to win this one because Netherlands are your pick. And Italy are already out, so Netherlands have to go out as well. Great. That's how it works. Way to make me feel good. But yeah, Lorinda is in the chat, I think. I mean, we had some discrepancies earlier on. He went to find Hunter Ace, didn't find him in the end. The problem we've got is that if Poland lose, being the production's pick, I don't know if we're going to have a production team anymore. And maybe that's where Lorinda's going to have to be. Yeah, but Lorinda's not very good on, technology, really, is he? No. Little known fact, but Lorinda is not very good with technology. What he is good with is numbers. And he's also good at annoying people as we take a look at a day in the life of the Hearthstone Global Games Studio.
Hey, how's it going? Hi Neil. I was watching the last match. It was really awesome. Was it awesome that Australia had a choice to make between Cinderstorm and missiles? I don't know if they made the right decision. Why? Well, look at these numbers here. So the Cinderstorm chances were they weren't significantly different to the Arcane Missiles chances, and obviously as a mana consideration, but the whole turn was really interesting, but I'm not sure it was right. Dan, we should talk about today's show.
Hang on, this is a really hard
Adrian, so I was looking at the VOD, and Crane says that it was a mana consideration on turn 3 that was important. But I still think he's wrong. I don't think it was the right play, like you were saying. So they could have used the missiles and the ping, or the missiles and the frostbolt if he goes wrong, and they've got a much, much less chance of missing. So I still think you're wrong. I think Crane's wrong as well. They should not have played that Cinderstorm. I think basically...
Neil. What if they played the Frostbolt the turn before?
Frostbolt, that's a good point. I'll go and work that out immediately. Hang on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you done yet?
No.
Falcon, where are you? Falcon!
Adrian, I've been looking at what Gaskin was saying, and he's absolute genius. Basically, now if they'd done the Frostbolt on turn 2, they would have had much more space available on turn 3 to play the Cinderstorm. It would have had a much bigger chance of hitting, up to 81% in some cases, depending on which minion they Frostbolted. Hey,
What if they were playing Rogue instead?
they're playing Rogue instead. That is absolutely amazing, Gaskin, because they can do this for all the variables, all the possible things, all the outcomes you could ever have. That's so incredible.
We need to prepare the show, thanks.
Yep.
I'm glad this day is over.
So I was looking at what Gaskin said about the Rogue thing, but I thought, well, what if you did Paladin instead? Obviously much more better than Rogue, because it has Avenging Wrath. Now, if you put Avenging Wrath into the Mage deck, that would make the Mage deck so much better. I'm so glad you brought this up earlier.
Neil, I just want to be polite, okay?
Polite?
As Lorinda tries to work out what being polite means.
Neil is mental, isn't he?
Yeah, you'd think that that's staged watching it, but that's genuinely what he's like, wandering around.
That is pretty much our lives.
And also genuinely what we're like. I'm usually somewhere like tucked in a game of Hearthstone, ignoring everyone, and Dan's just...
Winding up Neil.
Yeah, pretty much. That is us. And of course, in that video, we had our wonderful producer, Adrian, who is always amazing. Great to see him on stream sometime. I want him on the show with me next week.
Wow.
Can we make it happen?
I mean, I can't physically make that happen, but maybe if we drive Neil in his ear enough times, he might actually be forced onto the deck.
Let's take a look at the results between Poland, thank you, Adrian, Poland versus Netherlands. Who do you think is going to win? Netherlands takes the lead with a 69%. Yep.
It's always that percentage every time. I don't know why chat do it. I don't know how they do it, but it's very impressive indeed. But clearly they feel like Netherlands are better than Poland. That will upset, of course, production behind, but I still think Poland have a decent shot. I think we cannot underestimate these boys. A fantastic squad.
They've proven themselves to be a fantastic team themselves. Last week I had a chat with A83650 in an interview, and they sort of showed us what they were made of. And now, speaking of what we're made of, let's take a look at the most important part of the Hearthstone Global Games. It is, of course, the cast of predictions. And wow, 4 teams eliminated. For me, for production, for Sottle, for Lorinda. It's only yourself, Derek, and Raven that have both teams in.
Yeah, we do have both teams in, don't we?
What's that look for?
Well, I'm just waiting for the score to tick up. There we go. I'd hate to admit how far ahead I am than you, Falk.
You'd 8 to admit.
Yeah,
It's that.
you got it? Classic. But Darok is just behind. Raven not... he's doing
When
it right.
did Raven overtake me? When did that happen? It's because I lost both games last week.
Yeah, you had a bad week, unfortunately for you. But like, what I'm wondering is, because I'm 8-2, I'm in the lead, whatever, yeah, but if my teams then don't win the global games, can I not win the competition?
Okay, so we haven't actually properly discussed
We don't
this,
know.
and it's a very serious thing, so we probably should discuss it. I would think if one of our teams wins the whole thing, then we just win. However, if none of our teams wins the whole thing, then best score wins.
Okay, so I have an advantage going into the last 16, basically.
Yes.
Okay, I'm happy with that. It's a good start.
Yeah, sure. It's going to change. Netherlands are going to win. It's fine. It's fine. Anyways, we have the rest of the interview between myself and AKA Wonder to listen to, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Tell me a little bit about your team, AKA Wonder. Tell me about all of the members and what they all sort of bring to the table.
So we have Riku. He did top 24 in last playoffs. He's a really good player. He's like, every day he's playing better. Good ladder player, aggro decks usually. And yeah, actually the rest of the team lacks in terms of aggro acknowledge. So he's like bringing us Zoo, tempo mage, good list, you know, and how to play properly, aggressive. And then we have Jacobo. He's known as a streamer, but his competitive background is big. Like, he has been playing all the Spanish tournaments. He's really well known in Spain. He uses to play meme decks on streams, kind of like Jackie, but he prefers control and combo decks. So he's like bringing more that control-ish combo part of the game. And then we have Dalesome and me. We are like able to play most of the decks, but we are more like grinders, but also I have experience in tournaments in general. So Delta and me are kind of, I don't know, we are like we used to have more like in-game role. When we are playing, we are trying to carry them, you know, but not literally, but we are like trying to, I don't know, we are the ones who talk a lot, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, Delson, of course, is my teammate in SK. He has been a beast in ladder, and he's not having lucky this year, but next year probably he's gonna get better, and I think it's one of the players to watch for next year, I would say.
Oh, interesting. That's a little bit of insight there. Okay, last question, aka Wonder. I know that this week is going to be tough, but if you guys can make it through this week, are Spain going to win the Hearthstone Global Games?
We are going to win the Hearthstone Global Games, and if we win this week, prepare your cameras, because we are going to scream "Vamos" like crazy, you know?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? That means, let's go! Don't you remember when I screamed a lot when I won against Turna in playoffs 2015? Like my "Vamos" when I was almost crying.
Was that when you had the Cthulhu lineup?
Yeah, of course. Full Cthulhu.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that again. Lastly, aka I wonder, where can we find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch every day from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Twitch.tv/AKWonder, and also Twitter, aka Wonder, Instagram, aka WonderHS, and Facebook, aka WonderHS.
Excellent. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me, man. Go catch your flight.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
See you later. There's a man that knows how to promote himself there. I thought I'd give him a chance. It's only fair.
Great streamer as well. I very much enjoy his stream. I mean, I know you were saying he's your caster friend or whatever it was, pro friend, but he is a lovely guy. I have met him as well.
I do have a lot of pro friends, Dan. Right?
If that's what you like to tell yourself at night, sure.
Anyways, next section is everyone's favourite. So, Vamos, Dan! Let's do it. Is the viewer Q&A. It means let's go.
Oh, okay, sorry. No, I wasn't.
Hit us with the first question, please, production team.
This is always my most exciting moment. Why is Norway going to win? Like, we get this every week. A pro player tweets in saying, why is X team going to win? Why is Norway going to win HGG? Well, Lorinda would probably be happy if Norway won HGG. Are you okay?
I'm just checking there's no hooks coming to get me.
Oh, because you're not going to get sapped again. Norway are a fantastic squad. They do have some of the top players in the world. But are they going to win HGG?
I mean, they definitely have a good shot. There's no denying how good Hunter Ace is, and his whole team. It's Team Nordavind. It's a whole organization or like a whole team in the country for the country team. It's very, very strong team indeed.
I know why they're not going to win, because of Zorkthar tweeting that. It's a jinx, Zorkthar.
Can we please keep the wide shot, please, production? This time last every time they close us in, I'm like,
Let's have a look at another question then from you guys who are watching. What decks are awesome casters enjoying lately? I don't know. You'll have to ask them.
I was going to say, who are the awesome ones? Derek?
We've been playing a lot of Mali Tog Druid.
Today we have, yeah. I've not been playing Mali in mine, just Tog.
You've just been playing strictly Togwoggle Druid.
Yeah.
What else have you been playing? Token Druid.
A lot of Token Druid as well. I played a little bit of Quest Druid with Sottle towards the end of last week.
Quest Druid?
Quest Druid? Quest Rogue.
Okay,
Quest
yeah.
Rogue with Sottle towards the end of last week. But before that, the deck I was playing the most was Odd Warrior. I kind of made a bit of a thing of it on Twitter.
I feel like you've just admitted to us and you're actually playing Quest Druid. You're trying to break the meta.
Yep, and I got top 100 with it, so
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Odd Warrior. It kind of sucks that it auto loses to Quest Rogue.
Or it should.
I'm waiting for the meme to come in, yeah. But and also Togwoggle Druid is a very, very difficult matchup for the Odd Warrior, but otherwise I really enjoy playing that deck.
All right, let's have a look at another question then from you, Twitch chat. Will we see Q-Block again in competitive play? Yes, we will. I think it was at playoffs this weekend, wasn't it?
And are seeing it in competitive play. Yeah, exactly. We are seeing it in the occasional HGG list. Some players have already hit Legend this month. Bearing in mind, it's only day 3. Some players have already hit Legend this month and attributed a lot of that success to playing Cube Warlock. Yeah, the deck is still good.
I mean, it's kind of being touted as Control Lock instead of Cube Lock now, but it essentially still has the cube, so why wouldn't it be Cube Lock? There's 2 variants.
This is what I was going to say. It's one of the reasons maybe it doesn't get as much exposure as it used to, is because back then, Cube Lock was sort of the Warlock deck. But now Zoo is very, very popular. Even Warlock is very, very popular. Control Warlock without cubes is very popular. And then Cube Warlock is sort of the 4th Warlock deck. There's just a lot of Warlocks out there at the moment.
It's definitely there.
Still good.
I mean, cubing Doom Guards still hurts, and it still always will.
Hit me with another question, please, production team.
What were the most interesting off-meta decks last week? Mechathoon Priest, I guess, was pretty interesting.
I think we had a Topsy in there as well at some point.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, HGG has stuck pretty safe with the meta. Like, we haven't seen anything kind of distancing itself too much.
We had the Even Paladin the week before last.
Okay, yeah.
That was very good. That was very interesting, and again, I found some success with that on the ladder afterwards.
But there hasn't been too much experimentation, and I think it's because it's so risky now. Like, every game has been, like, kind of that winning in, or are you getting eliminated? People don't want to experiment too much. But Mechathoon Priest was definitely a highlight from last week, and in theory, if it wasn't for like a 72, they should have been able to win a game with it as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of beasts in Hearthstone out there. Do we have another question, production team? Which class has a new undiscovered meta-breaking deck? I mean, if I knew the answer to that, Delta, it would have been discovered already.
I think that there's still something to be said about Tempo Warrior, Dan.
Oh, for goodness sake.
All right, I say this every expansion. Ball Control built Tempo Warrior like how many expansions ago? Like 6 expansions ago? Years ago. And I loved it. And I've been waiting for him to build a Tempo Warrior ever since. But is there anything hiding in the roots? I mean, Token Druid has kind of popped up.
I mean, Token Druid is huge at the moment.
Just a few cards been added here or there. Maybe there's something to be said for Priest, because I feel like Priest is pretty safe at the moment, with Control Priest being what most people are bringing to the tournaments. So maybe we could still see something new from Priest.
Again, I've got to admit, I've been saying this for a while now, I am expecting a new Paladin to catch on at some point. I know that you disagree with what I'm about to say, Dan, but I don't think Odd Paladin is that good right now at all. That's a face. I much preferred playing the Even Paladin the week before last. I also really liked the list that Muzzy took to Copa America with the Meat Wagon, the Eggs, and the Paladin Legendary spell. That all seemed very strong to me.
I think the benefit of playing against an Odd Paladin is we know how to play against Odd Paladin now. Odd Paladin is the same pretty much, apart from like Blood Knights being thrown in there now. It's pretty much the same list as it has been since the last expansion. Whereas if you're playing Even Paladin or Meat Wagon Paladin, whatever you want to call it, suddenly you don't really know how to be playing against that. You don't know necessarily what your win condition is, blah, yada, yada. But you're right, maybe there is a Paladin that might creep in.
But even in the show match, I think yesterday that Fino did, which was Odd Paladin versus Quest Rogue. I was with Lorinda. Lorinda was catching up on it today. Quest Rogue won. Like, in a world where Quest Rogue is favored against Odd Paladin, you have to be questioning how good Odd Paladin actually is, as it should be like one of the hardest counters to Quest Rogue on paper.
Yeah, Fan of Knives helps, certainly, in that matchup. All right, final question, I believe, from you beautiful people in Twitch chat. What is your favorite card from the Boomsday Project? I will allow you to go first, Falcone.
I always really struggle to answer favorite card questions, favorite class questions, because honestly, I have a different one every 5 minutes. I don't know. There are so many good cards. I'm a big fan of Dynamatic. Big fan of Dynamatic from when I was playing a lot of Odd Warrior. It felt like the strongest card in the deck, or one of the strongest cards in the deck. Dynamatic and Dr. Boom. I guess if I had to pick right now, I'd go for one of those cards. But there are so many good cards. Dream Petal Florist has been awesome as well. I love Floop's Glorious Gloop. I want to know why that's not being played. That seems like it should be meta breaking.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit in where we thought it would. For me, I guess Floop in general. I know that's probably a cop-out answer, but
Mine's Giggling Inventor.
Well, the amount of like freedom you have with Floop and the fact you can play it in so many different Druid-style decks and you can play it in various situations.
Oh, actually, that reminds me. I was saying to you earlier today, one of my favourite things about playing Togwaggle Druid was having Floop and ending up with it in the hand and ending up with my opponent's deck. Because there were some funny situations where like I'd play Godfrey, and then the following turn I'd play Floop, which is now Godfrey. And stuff like that is hilarious.
It's just such a versatile card, and I think that's why I love it. Other cards, Demonic Project, I guess, is kind of cool. Like, being able to interact with your opponent's deck or hand has always been something that I've been intrigued by. I still don't know if Demonic Project is the right way to go about it, because it's very similar to Dirty Rat. But being able to break combo pieces is something that I am a massive fan of, because you need a way to try and counteract some of these really strong combo decks.
It's just painful when you are the combo deck being countered and they get that 1 in 7 to hit your Togwaggle.
I mean, it's better than Gnome Feratu, let's put it that way. Gnome Feratu is just not a nice card. If they get a 1 in 26, that's very different.
All right, everyone. We hope you've enjoyed the community show today. Again, shout out to Lorinda for being behind the scenes and getting us your questions, and shout out for the production team for being awesome as usual. We will be back. Lorinda, Gaskin, and myself will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. CEST to begin this week's games. We'll see you then.